So I want to talk about one of the things that's happening right now is that a lot of us are, we're quarantined, we're at home, or we're with just a few people, right? A lot of people, that's the situation on Earth. And so we're kind of getting to learn to get to know ourselves better. There's a little bit of forced shadow work when you can't be codependent on all of your best friends that you have been the past like couple decades. Or there's almost like a forced meditation retreat, an immersion into self for a lot of people, just so they can connect into their heart. So that's definitely what I've been doing. I know a lot of people have been doing it. They've been using this time of quarantine to get to know themselves better, because we haven't, the social media and distractions will only do so much. So at a certain point, we turn inward and we get to know ourselves. We open our heart, even if it's just a little bit by a little bit. And what I see happening is that that's happening for so many people, and there's a charge that's kind of building, meaning that when we do reconnect socially, like whenever the next big gathering is, whether it's actually in months or if, God forbid, it's actually in years, when people do come together, there will be so much magnetism for like a 4th of July or Canada Day or whatever the holiday is. You don't have to want to celebrate those. Just whatever the thing is that brings people together, even if it's like a rock concert, a big one, or anything. There's a certain magnetism towards that. So many people are like, man, I would be so appreciative to go to a show right now. I'll be so appreciative to go to a hockey game or whatever the thing is. Like, people love to be together. We just love that. That's social energy. And to me, that's the socially attuned, just like wanting to celebrate, wanting to connect energy of the heart. And so one of the things that I see that's happening right now is we're kind of building that charge so that when we do reconnect, there'll kind of be more openness than maybe we've ever seen before. That's a beautiful thing. So that's the journey of self-love that a lot of us are on. And I say shadow work phase as we're kind of here quarantining, because in many ways it can force you to look at those uncomfortable things. I have to say, for me, that has been definitely the case in a lot of ways. But at the same time, too, it's so beautiful because it's almost like we're setting things up for it's kind of like I'll say it like this. So it's like when you're fasting, you're almost like setting yourself up for the best meal ever, because you're just like, okay, there's no food, and you're like, it starts to really build inside of you that you're like, oh my God, you don't say you get cravings, but you get like fantasies of like food would be so good. And then when you finally have it, it's like your mouth is watering, your eyes are taking in, the aroma is stronger. Like the first time I did a multiple day fast, I was like smelling like Red Lobster and like Tim Hortons and like things that I never would even be interested in eating, but I was just smelling it and just appreciating how my senses were heightened for food. It's like a 3-day water fast. So very much in a similar way, I feel like we are fasting from social engagement the way that we normally have known it. And what's so beautiful about that is that it really encourages us to appreciate it more, to appreciate each other more, to appreciate just a conversation with a stranger, to appreciate like going out and dancing or whatever the thing is, but like just social engagement. So the reason that I want to bring this up is because as we do this, that's kind of setting us up for more heart-to-hearts. And I think that as long as we do this work, and this is what Quantum Heart is all about. If you haven't joined Quantum Heart, it's in the link in my bio. It's about doing that emotional work, what you could call shadow work, to the best of your ability. I don't want to force anybody to go too far, like being gentle with yourself. And then from that, opening up heart-to-heart communication as best as we're able to with people in our life. And, that can be challenging too in its own way. But as we do that, we're contributing kind of to that collective openness. You know what I mean? Like, if you can open up some really clear lines of communication, some nice heart-to-heart conversations in your life with the top 5 or 10 people, then you're contributing to like that being normal. So other people can do that too and have really good relationships. And then that can be like a domino effect. Because, you know, you affect somebody, you have a relationship, that opens up that heart-to-heart template, that way of talking with each other. It feels good. And then they have the option, they might be inspired to go do that with other people, and so on and so on. And you never know where it really ends because things just trickle out. So yeah, in that way it can be like fractal. And what's so beautiful about so many people being, I mean, there's a lot to argue against like why you wouldn't want to put people in a box. But I'm going to talk about what's actually beautiful about it is you have so many people across the world kind of in this introspective or facing self or facing their life in a different way than they were before. And since there's so many people doing that, that can actually help elicit more change, more individual connection to themselves. And of course, you know, people's distractions will eventually exhaust themselves. And we feel like, wow, I really need people. I really, not like in a needy, codependent way, but it's just like, man, that makes life. Like, we're social. Like, you can't avoid that. So then next time you see your neighbor, you're like, hey, what's up? Because we need to connect. And even the people who you live with, right? And you might end up talking more and more with people who are near you or people that you work with socially in a way you wouldn't necessarily open up before because we're just craving that connection. Whoa. So in that way, this can be a fractal process, meaning that so many people are going through a similar thing, opening up, and then from that opening, that charge builds. When we do reconnect, we can see more appreciation, like a good fast and enjoying the food, more appreciation for that social energy, that social connection. And that's what I consider the heart all about. It's like a socially attuned way of connecting with people. You know, it's like not so much separation and transactional, but just friendship, and we're getting along and we're having a good time. Like any outdoor celebration you've ever been to where it's like the vibe is kind of just like, yeah, just come chill, just have a good time with us. I think that's what we're low-key kind of cultivating. And yeah, I mean, well, this is just my perspective on the energetics. I love you, I care about you. If this supports you, if you like the idea of taking this journey a little bit more intentionally, then join Quantum Heart. You still can. And we're going through a 90-day experience where we're basically doing our best to facilitate that process. I call it 1, emotional transparency, 2, the heart-to-heart dynamic, and 3, following the intuition or our natural spontaneity. We only did week 1 so far, and there are many, many weeks that we're going to go through because it's 3 months. So, yep, hope this helped you, and just some food for thought. I'm out.